should stop saying Kaiso. Cause since Junior Monarch, I ain't had no bite. That's what you say. Bashment and soca is the thing for Dynamo. Because Calypso, I just struggle to write. Some tell me don't come bout and play that tyrant in politics. Cause I don't have a clue, but that's too big for you. So I really had to take care while I was writing this song. Because I didn't want to hear the things I writing were wrong. I write that this small country, let's borrow too much money. I hear don't write that, you're wrong about that. I write that our leaders like them may have no answers. I hear don't write that, you're wrong about that. Every time I write around, every time I write around, if I write that Bajans regret. The government to me like every time I write around, every time I write around, if I write some MPs who fail, holding on to me a coattail every time I write around, every time I write. So I really don't know how long I can take to finish this song, cause every time I write. Bloody hard. I write that you should protect yourself against these criminals, crooks, and these gunmen. We should get tasers.
Furthermore, you can't write that. The commissioner said to cooperate.
I convince myself to keep writing, but leave out all of the politics. I see society malfunctioning, so that should be an easy topic. Blind men could see that crime overweight and out of hand, while paychecks undersized, murders and prices on the rise. I had a rush of ideas, so I started to write them down. But then I heard a voice say, the things are right and are wrong. I write that many Bajans living in sufferation. I hear don't write that, you're wrong about that. People can't feed them children, but me I can't spare $1 million. Don't write that, you're wrong about that. Every time I write around, every time I write around, if I write that killings increase, since the government pay for peace. Every time I write around, every time I write around, if I write people don't get killed in Sandy Lane or Apes Hill. Every time I write around, every time I write. So I really don't know how long I can take to finish this song, cause every time I write. Bloody hard. I write, if you're scared the road, you get spotty child. Beat them.
Boy, you hear you can't write them things. You're gonna want them trying to beat you like the beat the teachers.
I kept on searching for an angle so that my song will go in the dump. I hear right about somebody controversial, so I thought, who better than Donald Trump? But I say I ain't writing about no American, when I can see and tell the only there's mad as hell. So I already knew before penning my opinion, some people would have the view the things are right and are wrong. I write MPs that's here when the woman tell them, no, don't write that, you're wrong about that. I write some bees that's teeth bold, but only these that's get whole. I hear don't write that, you're wrong about that. Every time I write around, every time I write around, if I write who bringing in guns, cause the cowboys are Indians. Every time I write around, every time I write around, if I write these guns to sleep, tell me how them game when I sleep. Every time I write around, every time I write. So I might as well just go along and try to write the next song, cause every time I write bloody hard.
Furthermore, you're wrong.
Why what can be that song? I mean you're right, but you're still wrong.
Everybody. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Barbados. How are we doing today? I trust that you had an amazing day today. It is really a pleasure to be with you this evening. I do not take it for granted, people. I've been preparing for you all day. So many things to talk about here on the Marcia Weekes Show, where we do Emma. We educate, we mobilize, we motivate, and we agitate. All of that happens right here on the Marcia Weekes Show. You want to know what is really going on? You want to be educated about what is really going on? You tune in to the Marcia Weekes Show. And that's what's happening tonight. And if all goes well, we should have Mr. Alwyn Bob. I had some challenges just a few minutes before the show started. So we're going to see if he still makes it. And we have Apostle Canterbury, who's due to be here with us tonight. We're working on it for you to be able to call in. I'm having some challenges there with my phone. But we're hoping that you will be able to call in tonight. I really want to hear you tonight, so I'm hoping that it works. But Monica Ince, let me say a wonderful good evening to you. Queen T, good evening. Vernon Garnes, good evening to you. Judy Jilks, good evening. Diana Husbands, good evening. Teroni Hall, a pleasant good evening to you. Mildred Ben, oh my goodness. Matthew Bourne, good evening. Flojo Maloney, how are you? Marcia, I know there's another Marcia coming. There is another Marcia coming. Shirley in Canada, how are you? Marcia Miller, Filipino, Machio. Carol, good evening, Carol. How are you? Joyanne, good evening. Marcia, good evening. Lori Bob, good evening. I said hello to Marcia already. Angela Burke, Jacqueline Ward, Jacqueline, and everybody else. Are we sharing the live, people? Are we sharing the live? Have you shared the live since you've been on? We really need you to do that in order for us to get the word out on what is happening this evening. We have some major issues to deal with this evening on the Marcia Weekes Show, and we're going to do it together, right? We're going to break it down together. I need you to call. I need you to share. We need everybody. If you have not shared yet in your WhatsApp group, do that. Because groups, do that. Lucinda, good evening, Lucinda. Please do that, right? Please, Hubie Shepherd, good evening. Good evening. Thank you for thank you. That's what I'll say. God, good evening. Yes, good evening. Izzy, good evening. Cameron Hardin, how are we doing? Sandra Pierce, how are you? Dalton Spencer. Wayne Martin, please stop and share. Please stop and share. We need you to like, to share, to subscribe. I know I don't do it enough asking you to subscribe because, people, when the subscription brings them money, I'm not monetized because we can't monetize on Barbados. So we're not even doing that. What you see of us is what it is. Nobody gets any paid from this. YouTube is not paying me, because we don't have that in Barbados. And it doesn't happen that way for us. We come on, yes, Marcia. Yes, Marcia, Emma, educate, motivate, mobilize, agitate. That's what we do on here, and we do it free of cost. Nobody pays us. It would be good if we can monetize because, Cami, if we can monetize, it means that I wouldn't have to come to ask you for help so much, right? Because we would have a system of how we can pay. Right? V. Hoy, good evening. Devere Smith, good evening. Ruby Nation with Andrew. Oh my goodness. Listen, Andrew, you are causing so many people want to have you to come back on the show. But if you have not yet subscribed, you go to Rumination. Go online, you will see Rumination with Andrew. And I want you to subscribe to Rumination with Andrew online on YouTube. Okay. He's going to join us. I want him to come back soon because I know a lot of you want him to come back on. And he go over there, he has some great topics that he's dealing with. And he and we've been talking about the possibility of doing like a news forum. So we're gonna link up and see what we can get down along with the guy in St. Vincent and do something for the Caribbean. Yes, I love the sound of that. So thank you, Rumination, for joining. Yes, they get their ideas on the Marcia Weekes Show. And Rumination, let me tell you, he's helping me to show me how to get monetized. And once we can do that, all of our different projects, which I'm going to talk to you about one for Sunday. And you see why if we could get monetized, then I wouldn't have to come to you all the time. You see? Sharon Innes, good evening. Shirley, oh, good evening. Oh, good evening. Good evening. Thank you all. Please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, everybody, Jacqueline and Danny and Liana and Eartha. Okay, guys, yes, wonderful. I see the numbers increasing. So I know when you're sharing. I know when you're liking. All right, and we need you to subscribe, people. Subscribe now. We have a packed show for you, but in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to do some advertising of some different projects that we are working on. If you tried to reach me today and you didn't get a response, understand, please. What's happening is that my cell phone, it's not charging, it's heating up. And so I'm using my laptop, okay, as to get my WhatsApp messages. So please bear with me with that. Now, the first thing we want to talk about is the Christchurch Get Thee Behind Me, Satan motorcade and prayer drive. Now, I know that some of you were on the one for St. Philip, which was very, very powerful. I must say, really, really powerful. And what is this all about? This is about the increase in crime and violence that is occurring in Barbados. We're seeing an increase in crime and violence occurring in Barbados. And one of the places that we saw it started to rear its ugly head again a lot was in St. Philip. And we were able to drive to the hot spots in St. Philip 2 Sundays ago and prayed with people and blessed them. We were able to give out, actually, let me see if I have it here. Give me a moment. Let me pick up something here. These are the bands that here. I don't know. Let me put myself so you can see it. Okay, so you can see this band that I have here. Okay, it says believe in him and live. Okay, I need to go this way. Believe in him and live. And it says John 3:16 on it. And it's donated by Gospel Fest. I want you to see the Gospel Fest. Yeah. I want you to see the Gospel Fest. So Gospel Fest, they bought, Mr. Agard bought quite a bit of these and to give away in Gospel Fest. And he didn't give all of them away. So he's donated them to this initiative. To this initiative. And let me tell you, you see this simple thing? It's such a hit on the road. We distributed almost 1,000, a full box of this. When I told Mr. Agard that we had distributed that amount, that number, he was totally shocked that we threw away the box because people wanted it. People wanted it. Okay. So you see, we are going to have these again. We're going to have another 1,000 of these that we're going to distribute. We're going to distribute these in Christchurch. So we get out when we go to particular areas, and we get out of the cars, and we go into communities, or go to a block. Just go, and we just distribute them, and we pray while it's being distributed. Someone is on the microphone praying for that community. We read Psalm 91. We read a psalm of protection over the community, and we move to the next spot, and we play music. We play a lot of uplifting music. And what this is all about, somebody might say, what's the point of that? Why are you going to bother to do that, Marcia? What's the point of it? Somebody might ask. And because, you see, we believe that this issue of crime, we need a comprehensive approach. We do know that there are quite a number of initiatives that the government needs to implement. We've talked about that on the show so many times. We know that there are changes that need to happen in communities. We've spoken about that so many times. We talk about the church, initiatives from the church. We talk about initiatives from parents, teachers, every aspect of society. And what this is about, this is a spiritual initiative, because we believe it's not just us coming and laying out what the problem is, but all the time on the Marcia Weekes Show, we seek to find solutions. And not just to find solutions, Liana, but Jacqueline Ward, Danny Greaves, we decide that we will become the solution. So out of this show has come many initiatives that took us all the way to Washington to complain about this, complain to the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights about this government and about the cybercrime bill. Remember, we did that. So it's not that. So some of you who are listening and you said, oh, this is as though churchy and so on. That was one initiative. But then there are other initiatives that we've made. We've done protest marches. We've taken care of people. Tonight, I'm going to tell you about a young girl who needs somewhere. She's on the streets, and her mother is trying to get somewhere for her to stay. And on the show, we look at things in a holistic way. All right. So just going to ask you to join us on Sunday. If Dave could put the could put it right back on the screen for me, I would really appreciate that. The ad itself, Sunday, we are going to meet at Sheraton Mall, right outside Sheraton Mall. Okay. As soon as Dave is able to put that up for me. So we're going to meet at Sheraton Mall on Sunday at 1:30. Thank you. Sunday, July 13th, 1:30 p.m. We're going to meet at Sheraton Mall, and we're going to end up at Silver Hill, right outside the hard courts there at Silver Hill. So we are going. We're going from Sheraton Mall, because I don't have my phone. I can't even say the other. There's that it's a community right behind Sheraton Mall, right? If Dave could write it in the private chat for me, exactly what the name of that community is where we're going to go first, and we're going to just keep moving until we end up at Silver Hill Hard Court. So we're asking everybody, Vauxhall. So we go into Sheraton, from Sheraton Mall, we go to Vauxhall, I know we're going to go to Kendall Hill and all of those places. Over the weekend, we're going to put up everything for you to see. And right, so we're going to ask you to put that, we're going to put that up for you. But if you come to Sheraton Hall 1:30, please don't be late, so we don't leave you. And even if you don't drive, you come. It's a motorcade and prayer drive. So we're not walking this time, because with the motorcade, we'll be able to cover more ground. All right, we're going to be able to cover more ground. So if you can make the effort to come. Now, with this what we're doing, it does cost, it does cost some money. $300 alone for the truck, 650 for the sound, and 211 for the generator. So already that's a little over $1,000. And as you know, it goes all of us. We make sure we put we all put something in, but we are going to ask if you can help. Anybody who can help, we appreciate it. You can give me a call, and the number is, if Dave could help me just by putting the number up. The number 236-7000 is a number that you can call, all right, to help us with the finances. We've never been out. You've always come to our rescue. You've always come to the rescue. You've always come to the rescue. All right. So we need your help. We need your help. We need your help. So yeah, we do need your help. So we're going Sheraton Mall, Vauxhall, Sargents, Kendall Hill, Gall Hill, Lodge Road, and we end up in Silver Hill. Sheraton Mall, Vauxhall, Sargents, Kendall Hill, Gall Hill, Lodge Road, Silver Hill. Okay. So we're going to stop at some of those spots, and we're going to pray, and we're going to do and just spread the love of God. We're just going to spread peace and change the atmosphere in these communities. All right. And not going with any judgmental anything. That's so those of you who can help, if you reach out to me, I would be able to give you the banking information, or you can actually bring it to the event, but at least send me a message and say, Marcia, I'm planning to give something. All right. So if you're yes, thank you. Yes, Judy. Yes. So if you want to give something, give anything to help. It's just a little over $1,000. There, about $1,160. And the last one, every one of us, all of us, you know how we do it. We help, everybody help to make it happen, right? And David, thank you, David, showing us a little bit of what happens. And thanks to Gospel Festa, these bands, it's a hit. These bands are a hit, and the people love them, and it's saying something positive, and they're wearing it. You should see some of these guys. Some of them, the way they look, you'd want to run from them, and they want the bands. And they take the bands not just for themselves, but they want it for their girlfriend and their children. They do. They come and they say, give us a band. Give me one for my lady. They say, yes. So guys, let's do it. It says gifted. God gave his son. Believe in him and live. All right. And I get these messages. Say, oh, you all make the thing so Christian. Well, if you're Muslim, do what you do. That's okay. I'm not here judging anybody's religion. If you are Muslim, go ahead and do what you do. All right. And that's fine. That's okay. If this motorcade is not for you, it's not for you. But in your community, do what you do. Okay. So yes, so those who do, thank you, Sandra, those who do not drive, if you can get, what we'll say is this, but to cut costs, because the last time we provided transportation, but we didn't have that many persons coming from town, right, to St. Philip. However, if you can get from wherever, just get to Sheraton Mall, because it's not cost effective for us to provide the transportation when we don't have that many people coming from Bridgetown. So if you could get to Sheraton Mall, once you get there, you are going to get transportation because we just fill up the cars. All right. Right. So yeah, and this is it's just an expression. And people, we had a lady who actually came from her veranda and prayed and came over and prayed with us. Right. So it is so the community and we get involved. All right. So don't write me. Okay, do your own. Do what you believe you can do to bring peace and that change that atmosphere in the community. Go ahead and do that. Thank you, Dave. All right. So moving along with more ads. The Democratic Labor Party, they are in Connecticut tonight. And then if Dave could find the one for New York, because tonight is happening, there is one for New York as well. And I don't have I don't have it here, but if Dave could find that one, so this is not right. Thank you. This is the one I want to see. Okay, so Sunday, July 13th. So just read it quickly. Okay, so town hall meeting is Sunday, July 13th, 2025, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And it's going to be at St. Albans Church. How many of you are in New York? How many of you in Brooklyn? Even if you're in Queens, it's not that far. You take the train and you're there, or you drive over, right? It's a Sunday evening. St. Albans Church, there's a number there. 240-7158 is a Barbadian number that you can WhatsApp. And there is also a New York number, 646-462-1461. This is Mr. Ralph Thorne. Honorable Ralph Thorne is the opposition leader of Barbados. So whether you're part of the DLP or you're just a Barbadian, I think that you should go to this town hall meeting and ask your questions. They said they're going to have frank discussion on national issues. So of course they're going to deal with party issues. I am pushing national issues. Okay, go out and have a conversation. There's a group of them going up. Use the opportunity to pose your serious questions to the Honorable Ralph Thorne. Okay, go ahead and have a conversation with him. You are part of Barbados. I know it's a party meeting, but what I'm talking about on this show is national issues. Go and ask about the various things that are happening in Barbados. All right, that's Sunday evening. Okay, go ahead. You live in Brooklyn. There's so many Bajans that live in Brooklyn. It doesn't matter the party you're from. Ignore all of that color stuff. You understand? And go ahead, St. Albans Church, write down a little question and be bold and ask your question of the Honorable Ralph Thorne. Okay? And 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. All right? And that's the address there. You can go ahead and take a screenshot of that. All right? The last thing I'm going to talk about is Walk Holy. On July 20th, there's going to be a concert at Praise Academy with Walk Holy. It's a fundraising concert at Praise Academy. And stick with me, it's the last ad that I'm going to talk about. And we are inviting you to the concert. You're going to find the announcer is going to be there. You're going to find Apache is going to be there as soon as Dave can put this ad up, right? And you're going to find quite a number of Calypsonians are going to be there. Look at it. Donella, she's like one of my favorite. I love to hear her. And I love how she carries herself as a woman. Donella. You have Richard Antonio. My friend Sight, Kid Sight, is going to be there. Oh, these are my favorite people: Sammy Jane, Colin Spencer, James Leacock, the Apache. Blood is going to be there as well. And of course, I mean, I want to be able to see Colin Spencer live. And so that's a good evening to be there. It's at 4:30 p.m. at on the 20th, Sunday the 20th, 4:30 p.m., $20. Praise Academy, Upper Colomarack. It's right there where Guardian Insurance. It's a gap before you get to Guardian Insurance, before you get to the bus stop. If you're coming from town, and if you're coming from Chanel Supermarket, it is after the bus stop. You have the bus stop, Guardian Insurance, and then the bus stop, and it's that gap. You will see the sign. All right, Praise Academy, and it's only $20. Come out and support Walk Holy. Walk Holy is going to be on the road on Calumet Day, and we're looking for people to help us. One, to pack. We're doing a lot of giveaways. We're giving away, little care packages, etc., for Walk Holy on the day. So, which is something we do all the time. And so we're going to ask you to come out and support and help us to pack. One is to come to the school again, help us to pack the care packages, and come on the road and help us to help us to distribute the packages on August 4th. All right, help us to distribute. The people come, they expect it from us, and they line when they're there, they expect to receive it. Dave, you can go ahead. Okay, right. So that's us there. We're packing. This is what we do, and we share the love of God with people. We that's it. We are distributing, and you see the little boy has his stuff. Sometimes we have back to school stuff. That's us on the street there, and this is what we do. And so Calumet Day, we're out on the road, and we are being a blessing to people. Look, the people are lining the road there, and we're making sure that they get their giveaways, right? We are blessing them, all right? That's us giving stuff away to people and being a blessing. Sometimes they get school supplies, or they might get some groceries. We have stuff for, moms and dads, and even we have sometimes care packages for pregnant women, because we have stuff in their supplies for the newborn, etc. So whatever we get, we put it together in care packages, and we get them out. Okay, so these are some of the pictures, some of the things that we do on that day. And so those of you who want to come out and to help, or you might want to contribute and say, Marcia, we want to donate some food supplies to give to those who are in need, right? So that's what we do on August 4th. So again, remember, here on the Marcia Weekes Show, we are practical people. We don't just come and talk about the issues, but we are going to be an answer. Thank you, Dave. This is excellent. We're going to be an answer. Those people who want to come out and just to give, you might not want to be in the band. I could ask those who the band leader whether you can have a special shirt, like a T-shirt, and you just come and help us to distribute. And just come and you are distributing the care packages, so that we can. If Dave goes a little closer in, you will see what we have there on the floor. This is at Praise Academy, where the children come to dance, and we have little snacks and books and all of these things. So we have stuff for the children, and then we have stuff for the family, where they can, rice and flour and cornmeal and whatever they need. We are the change that they want to see. Yes. So come on, folks, and let's love on Barbados. We are not just talkers. So we're going to come to you, and those of you who might want to give into that effort. And as I said, some of you might not want to wear a costume. I can ask the band leader and the team, the organizing team, if they would just give us some T-shirts, And those of you who might just want to wear a t-shirt and just come and distribute what we have for them. Okay. Oh my goodness. So that's a lot. So great. Aaron Hunt is saying, great job, Marcia and Dave. We wanted to come out on the day. And you see how the people are receiving us. And I tell you what happens on that day. You will see that once they hear the gospel music coming, they start to run in the gap, running up, because they know every year we have something for, even if we don't have for the adults, we have for the children every year. So you see, and we have to wait on them. They're running up the gap coming because the Walk Holy Band is coming. and so we bless them and we pray for the communities, because we believe that the issue is also spiritual, and the walk Holy invites you to join us. Okay, important. Dave, you're playing something there, so we're gonna
join the Walk Holy Movement Band as they gather the patriots of the nation to free ourselves from the spirits of colonialism and declare Barbados a nation loyal to the sovereign God. For 23 consistent years, Walk Holy has ministered in the streets on Kiddumat Day with live worship, care packages, and tract distribution, and have won the hearts of many Barbadians who line the streets and who watch us from their homes. Join us, ye loyal sons and daughters, as we continue to war for the destiny of our nation. For over 300 years, the Lord has been the people's guide, and we, the people from all walks of life and professions, rally in unity to declare loyalty to Him, the sovereign God. Walk Holy declares Barbados belongs to God. Join us by WhatsApping or calling 246-245-0396 or 246-236-7000, or email us at walkholybds@yahoo.com, or search for us on Facebook at Walk Holy Barbados. Come, let me go.
Young children must be buried. Your Bible daily, get yourself in here. Salvation is to share with this chorus in the year. Walk holy, hey, walk holy, keep on walking. Walk holy, God is holy. Many children, hey, walk holy. Many children, walk holy. Come again.
That's the Walk Holy Band. That's the Walk Holy Band. Now, we're going to go into some discussion tonight, and I want you, we're going to be in a little, it's almost like we're going to be in class tonight. All right? And so I want us to really get ready. I want us to put our thinking caps on. I want us to not be so focused on yes, you can comment, but I want you to focus on understanding. Focus on getting a full understanding of what is going on. Now, Mr. Bob is supposed to join us, but as you know, he's a coach, and he's an athletics coach, and had some challenges this evening with some of the management of what he does. And while we were corresponding all of today, and he was so excited about coming on, he sent a message to me that he will be on. However, he is running a bit late. So I am going to bring up a couple segments, up a little higher. But I'm going to pause again and ask you to really like and share, okay? To like and share. So I'm going to give you just a little moment there to do that. And while we get ready to talk about the debt for resilience swap, we're going to talk about the debt for resilience swap. All right. And because we know that this is, we opened our newspaper and we were told that, wow, Barbados is going to be the first. We are going to be the first. And, we like to be the first. We like to be the first in Barbados. Any of you saw that article? How many of you saw the article about the debt for resilience swap? Yeah? Yes, anybody saw that we're going to have the first debt for resilience swap facility in the entire world. Are we supposed to be excited about that? Is this something exciting? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You know, what is Auntie Mia have for us now? What did she get us? We got gifts. We got gifts. We have gifts, guys. Somebody saw it. Are these seem to be gifts, right? We have little gifts. We have little gifts and gifts, right? So we have gifts. So this is a gift here. We got gifts. Auntie Mia came back with gifts for us. But we're going to listen, we are going to be the first, it says. That's a fact. If Dave could find that article and put the article up. In the meantime, I'm just going to paraphrase what we saw in that article. All right? So I've summarized the article. Barbados is about to become a global test case. Our nation, Barbados, is the first in the world to try out a shiny new scheme called the Debt for Resilience Swap. Sounds harmless enough. It even sounds a little hopeful, doesn't it? Quite shiny new scheme. The Debt for Resilience Swap. But when we dig a little deeper, it raises some questions, serious questions. Yes, we're going to trade in some high interest loans for cheaper ones and use the savings for schools or healthcare, is what we're being told. But the thing is this, we are trading debt for debt. Debt for debt. So you're trading debt for debt. Okay, this is a gift that we're given. This nice shiny, right? It's this nice shiny new scheme. Debt for debt. All right. We're still taking on debt, still under the watchful eyes of the World Bank and the IDB. And I'm going to show you how and why. Still tied to international institutions that may be able to shape our future in ways that you and we didn't agree to. We knew nothing about it, but our children and their children would be tied to these international institutions. The question is, where was the public consultation? We did not hear anything, not even in Parliament, nothing really. Where is the transparency, Barbados? Who will decide which projects get funded? Will the foreign advisors or the people of Barbados? I'm going to break that down for you very, very soon. And if this is a blueprint for the Caribbean and beyond, are we just the first ones walking into a new form of financial dependence? Are we walking into a new form? Just a different, they come with these slogans. Resilience. Huh? Resilience. They've got to stick a word, one of their catchphrases in there. Is this a new form of financial dependence? We're going to look behind the headlines that we read in the newspaper today. Because the newspaper, what we find with our media is that they are just reporting. There's no investigation that is going on. So you're going to hear from them all the benefits of what the minister is saying. Okay? But they're not doing their homework to find out, to educate the people on what this debt for resilience swap is all about. What are the pros and what are the cons? What are the dangers to Barbados? And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. I need you to like and share and put on your thinking caps. Guys, we are here. We want to educate ourselves. And if there's anything that I'm missing out, I'm going to read the comment section. Feel free to include that in the comment section, and so that I might include it. I do not have my phone tonight, so I might miss your WhatsApp. All right, that's the truth. I know Dave is working on it. If it's fixed, he will get it to me. But I'm not going to, at the moment, not going to see your WhatsApp messages. So put your comments there so I can read it if there's anything that I am missing from it. But I did some research on it early this morning so I could come to you. So we're going to look behind the headlines. We ask the hard questions because Barbados should not just be a test subject. We must be the authors of our own story. We must not be a test subject, but we must be the authors of our own story. So they're telling us that we are going to be first. They're going to test this thing on Barbados. And the reason I believe that they are going to test this thing on Barbados, it's because of the kind of prime minister that we have. We have a prime minister that has her allegiance to the global powers. We see that in what she wears on her left breast at all occasions, at most occasions. She's wearing that UN brooch on her left breast. That's her allegiance. We pledge allegiance to the flag, not the Prime Minister of Barbados. And that is why we can be, we are now first, and we are supposed to be so excited about it. Remember, we were the first in the metaverse to have an embassy. Who remember that? We have all of a sudden become the guinea pig of the globalists and the elitists. Whatever they have, they're trying it out in Barbados. So Barbados is going first. We are set to become the first country to test a new debt for resilience swap facility, backed by 4 major development banks. If you're writing, write this down for me, please. Write this down. Folks, are we writing? Are we writing? Write this down, folks. 4 major development banks. The World Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB, and we know them as we also AKA the sex test bank that gave the 200 and odd questions to our young or 11-year-olds, asking them about their gender, and all of these very intrusive questions, very abusive to our children. So this is the sex test bank, IDB, which our prime minister sits on the board, the World Bank as well. Okay, so we're not surprised that we're going first. We're the guinea pigs. The CAF Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean Development Bank. And I know they just threw that in for good measure. The Caribbean Development Bank was just thrown in so that we say, oh, it's not all international. But these 4 major development banks, folks, right? They are backing the debt for resilience swap facility that is supposed to be in Barbados. We are the first country. They're testing it. What's the plan? Barbados will buy back some of its most expensive debt. All right? And we are going to, so this is Barbados's debt. I did a little something because I really want us to understand. Don't laugh at me. and so this is our debt, Barbados debt, which, you know, it's way bigger than this. I forgot to check our debt to our I forgot to check our total debt. If somebody remembers what it is and can put it in the chat for me. I now have my phone back, so you can send me via WhatsApp if you can. All right, I forgot to check that. So here it is. This is our debt. So we're going to buy back some of the most expensive debt, and we're going to replace it with new debt. So it's debt for debt. So we're going to get, it is our debt, but we're going to swap because it's a swap, right? New debt. All right. So we're swapping debt for debt. But this debt that we have, we're going to get it at a low interest rate. I hope you can read that, or it didn't turn upside down, turn the wrong way. Right? We're now going to get this at a low interest rate. Can you actually see that, or is it turned upside down, turn the wrong way? Low interest rate. So this new debt that we have is it's a new debt, still debt, but we're going to get it at a low interest rate. But guess what? This debt that we have, the new debt is going to be backed. It's going to be backed by the 4 development banks: World Bank, IDB, the CAF Development Bank of Latin America, and the Caribbean Development Bank. Now, once we have the low interest payment, that is going to allow us, right? Our payments then back to our borrowers will be less because we now have a low interest payment. And with that low interest payment, it is understood that we are going to have some savings. And with this saving, right, what the government is proposing and what this whole facility, the debt for resilience swap idea, is that with your savings, you are going to be able to invest in social and resilience building projects. Hear that word, resilience? Remember, we have that resilience fund. Do you remember another resilience fund? So what you have to think of it is like as though you're financing a high interest loan. You're refinancing, you're refinancing. If you had a high interest loan, right, whether it's on your car, your house, whatever it is, and you decide to refinance that high interest loan so you can free up some money, right, for some other things that you want to spend your money on. You might want to put in a new garage, or you want to put in a fence or security systems or whatever it is. So you're refinancing a loan that you already have. So the debt swap is that we are swapping debt for debt, right? But the new debt is at a low interest. You're doing getting it a low interest rate, hopefully, and the whole idea is that there will be some savings that you will be able to use. Now, what are the benefits? Now, the benefits is what the newspaper, the media, this is what the traditional media bought and paid for, right, by the government. I have to say that because they just report. There's no investigation. So they have told us the benefit is low interest payments, more money for schools, healthcare, infrastructure, etc., faster execution. Know that if we have the facility here, then we will experience the execution of the swap is going to be faster, right, than the older debt swap deals that were there before. So this one is going to go faster, right? We are going to get official support from respected financial institutions. Remember the big 4 that I told you about before, okay? Those banks. Potential to become a model for the entire Caribbean and the global South. And we love to say we're punching what? Above our weight, right? So we want to be a model for the entire Caribbean and the global South. We're good so far. Let me check the comment section before I move on. Somebody said resilience and sustainability. Yes, those are the buzzwords, right? Somebody said that the debt is like Shaquille O'Neal's shoe size. It's big. All right. Okay. So let's move on now. Let's move on. All right. So, but what are the risks? What are the risks? This is what the journalists are not going to tell you. I'm not a journalist. I'm an educator, agitator, motivator, mobilizer. That's what we do here. Okay. So here are the risks. Those of you taking your notes so that you can put this out on Facebook and on your Instagram. We need you to become the foot soldiers and to share this with others. Number one, the projects. Remember we said that you can get one of the benefits is savings. So you can put that towards whether, healthcare, schools, infrastructure. Projects must be pre-approved. Those social projects, those resilience projects, must be pre-approved. Oh my goodness, by who? Who do you think need to pre-approve these projects? I'm waiting for you to write. This is interactive, man. Who do you think should pre-approve? Who do you think is going to need to pre-approve? I want to hear from you. Anybody? Not the government. Not the government. Who needs to pre-approve? Before, remember, they are selling us. This is what the selling point of these things. We're going to be able to put money towards healthcare and schools and infrastructure. But what they didn't tell us is that before any of that can be done, any of these social projects, the social projects need to be pre-approved. Come on, Izzy. Come to the front of the class, Izzy. To the banks, those that are backing. Who are the four banks? Who are the four banks? Write the four banks. Listen, I'm putting on teacher hat tonight. The World Bank is one. Who are the other three? These are the four entities that will have to approve. The IDB, thank you. Give me two more banks. I'm not going to stop until you. CAF, yes, with Latin America. Yes, and who else? Last one before I move on. I am being teacher tonight. Yes, we said the World Bank already. There's a last one. Who is listening? Yes, Carol. Carol? No, I get it back in my serious mode. Yes. They must approve these projects. So when they come to you with these things, this is a part of it that they're not telling you. The projects must be pre-approved. Barbados may lose control over where the money goes, the saving goes. We're going to look at how that is going to create a problem for us. Don't forget that we are creating new debt. Our situation hasn't really changed. It's debt for debt. Debt for debt. We're swapping. We're just swapping out debt for debt. So we still create new debt, just at better rates. Okay? If the projects fail or is mismanaged, somebody put that, I think, VR, we lose both money and we lose control. If the projects fail or they're mismanaged, we're going to lose both the money and control. Now, this whole debt for swap could come with hidden conditions or policy influence from the foreign lenders. And we know, one of the things that we know, there's no transparency. Why should you care? Why should you as a Barbadian care? Because this isn't just a financial issue. It's about sovereignty. Who is really steering our economy? Who is really steering our economy? It's about accountability. Who decides how your taxes and debt are used? It's about generational impact. What kind of Barbados are we leaving behind? And so tonight is a lot for us to think about, because they come with a lot of these, flowery words and all the benefits and all the things that's going to happen. And we're going to be the first facility. All that is happening is that we're giving up a little of our sovereignty. We are too indebted. And the same thing that happens with the IMF, that they tell you when you can get a new hospital. They tell you when you can have new schools. They tell you that the social services that you can focus on. It's no longer what the government of that country decides that's good for their people. Because we have now become slaves to the lender. That's all that this is. So there's no, it's not this shiny, scheme that they're dangling the shiny thing in front of us for us to, be all excited about. But we're basically at the same place that we were, because we still have to get those projects. They still have to be pre-approved by those 4 entities. Our sovereignty. We are moving into a new form of financial dependence, not independence, financial dependence. Let me take a moment. Barbados is still in debt. Neo-colonialism. And this, I don't understand. This is what, when you think of our prime minister, and, she gives these powerful speeches. But she has become the queen of neo-colonialism. She's become the face of it. We're being taken back into slavery. Our children and ADG, our children and grandchildren will become slaves again. Correct, Emerson. We didn't talk about that. Thank you. Right? They're going to influence, I believe, not just the social policies, but laws. This is why IDB could have come in here with all those questions. And they were in the schools. The children said they saw the white people in the school. It wasn't just the teachers. There were, and I'm saying white people. And the reason I'm doing that, because that's how the children, how they put it. They saw people there who did not belong to the school. Legal loan sharking. Yeah. Correct thing, or development decisions are in the hands of others. We're going back to slavery days, somebody says. Yes, Pedro is saying we are already conditioned to behave. You know, this woman is this prime minister of ours, really. When you begin to see her action, you understand. Dave, if you could bring up again what she's wearing for me. I think the last place she was at, it was so pronounced. What she wears on her left breast is what is being implemented in Barbados. That's why the elite, the globalists, they are focused on Barbados because of our prime minister. Yeah. There you go. Michelle, come to the front of the class. We own nothing and we are going to be happy about it, they said. We will own nothing and we're going to be happy. We will own nothing. I am telling you, when we're done with this show tonight, you're going to see. Now, I didn't get to finish researching, but I want to give you all a homework here. And where I want you to look up, I believe there is a place where the debt for swap was already, there's one country, and I'm going to look for it for you and ask you to research it. I want to find it for you, if you could bear with me, because I wanted to look at Ecuador and El Salvador. They did similar debt for nature swaps, but what they said, some of the critics of it said that the gains were more modest, right? And what happened, the same thing we're talking about, there was a greater dependency on the donors, and there was restrictions on land use in Ecuador and El Salvador. Write it down, and please go and research the debt for nature swaps for Ecuador and El Salvador. So this is a precedent of problematic swaps. So we're basically going to be tied to global governance mechanisms, okay? Because we have the World Bank and the IDB. With the World Bank and the IDB, they're going to influence our national budgetary decisions. Just like we're saying, they are going to run things, guys. This is part of what I researched today. They call it soft control, right? Through debt-based diplomacy. Debt-based diplomacy is like a soft control. All right? So very important. And as I said, you know, we talk about sovereignty. What is sovereignty? Sovereignty is about control, having the final say over your own laws. I think somebody mentioned that. Or borders, the economy, or culture, national decisions. So sovereignty is about control, having the final say over our laws, over our borders, the economy, our culture, and national decisions. In the Barbados context, when we lose our sovereignty, we're asking, are foreign governments, banks, or organizations influencing our decisions? Are we giving up control over our land, our resources, our economy? Do Barbadians still have the power to shape their own future? Or is it that we are being steered from the outside? We're going to look a little more at China tonight when Apostle comes in. Without sovereignty, a nation may be pressured into policies it doesn't want. You see, you remember the IDB test. Remember that? I call it the IDB sex test to 11-year-olds. Remember that? You might be pressured into policies that we don't want. We might lose our cultural identity and our independence because we will now become financially dependent. We've become economically dependent on outside. The bottom line is that sovereignty equals freedom to choose our own path as a nation. When we lose it, someone else chooses for us. When we lose our sovereignty, someone else chooses for us. And that is what they're after. We saw it in the pandemic with the WHO, regardless of our views about the COVID and whether who believe in the vaccine and who doesn't, whatever. That's not the point I'm making. I'm saying, do you remember where WHO took over all of our health care and our health policies, the health policies? We lost our sovereignty. That is what this globalist agenda is all about. And Barbados, as true to form, because of the kind of prime minister that we have, we are front and center. We are first. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Let me take some time to read your comments as I wait on Mr. Bob. I don't know if Dave can check on him for me, for him to see if he can get in. Somebody said, when I was a student, you were there. So much books in your library on IMF, the Caribbean. One book was Death Trap. Death Trap. Yeah. And Jamaica can tell you about that. The question, is what are we going to do about this? Slavery days. If the government and colonial white folks think Bajans will submit to that type of living, then they're delusional. And you see, we think she's such a strong person. That's what she presents, but she's not. She's a very weak leader. She is a weak leader who bows. She bows. All they've got to do is cha-ching, 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 and the PM bows to the global elite, to the global systems, to the global powers. She bows. We saw what she wears on her. That's her allegiance. It's not to Barbados. We have lost our sovereignty, people. She is giving away Barbados. Who is really in control? I'm telling you. Mia Motley told the people of Barbados that she could do better than the DLP. No, Barbados is worse off now when the DLP was in power. Are you all better off now? That is a question. No, we're not. We're not better off in our pockets, and we're losing our sovereignty as a country. We're supposed to be an independent country, you see, but no. You see, that's part of all that's happening. We're now republic, right? And there were some people who were concerned about us coming from underneath England because we will be left open. Food for thought. I was one of those who felt that we should go republic. I just would have preferred if we had a discussion with the country about it and get the buy-in of the entire country. But exactly, Michelle. We're going to talk about China tonight when Apostle comes on. This is the first place Liana says that it will be fully implemented too. I want to ask you something. Do you know, I read, this is Liana Bell. Listen, you're getting me real stirred up. Do you know there is a thinking that the slave the slave society. The Barbados was the first slave society. Anybody out there ever heard of that before? Barbados being the first slave society. It is said, I read this in the principal for UWI, and why am I not remembering his name? I'm sure Dave is going to tell me. Hilary Beckles, Sir Hilary Beckles, has a wonderful book that I've written. And in the book, he talks about Barbados being the first slave society, because in the Caribbean, we're the closest to Africa, to West Africa. All right? And we were the first slave society. And that's why our Barbados did so well with sugar, you know, because we were very well established, right? And it was even said that this is where slavery was perfected. Do you think it is strange then that this is where that they have somehow she's given over this country to them and have gone to bow down to massa, to the elites, to the globalists? So Liana, you're onto something there. You're onto something. Barbados was indeed the first British colony to develop a society heavily reliant. This is coming from Google. Thank you, Dave. Heavily reliant on the enslavement of Africans, becoming a black slave society. This transformation occurred as the island became a major producer of sugar, a labor-intensive crop that fueled the demand for enslaved labor. The system of slavery in Barbados was particularly brutal and was enforced through strict codes and extreme violence. I want you to read that and let it sink in. I really want tonight's show, who's really in control of this country. We are given over. I'm telling you, we are so indebted. We are given over to these people. And they have chosen Barbados. And we have a willing leader going ahead because of whatever they promised her, whatever was promised to her. Nothing has changed. Yes? So I want you to focus on that. But we're going to move on. We're looking at and I will continue until the guest comes. Dave will check on them for me. Yeah, we're not, listen. Let's stick to the point that we're dealing with. We were enslaved. I don't care what the color was and all that. We were enslaved. Sometimes we love to go off on a tangent. Let's stick to what we're talking about tonight. And everything that you hear on this show, go ahead and research it for yourself. The newspaper today, I noted they gave us the benefits. They did not give us the risks. We are looking at it. I gave you the benefits and I gave you the risks tonight. Okay. Okay. All right. So, yes, we have regressed. We have regressed. and as our own, and that's what's happening right now. Right now, people that look like us pushing Pan-Africanism, and is a big neo-colonialist that we have ever seen is Mia Motley, the biggest neo-colonialist. Mia Motley selling out this country. Amazing. Let's look at another way that she sold out the country. Let's look at another way. You know, I'm prepared to keep going. I'm waiting on guests, but you know, and I know that they prepared, and Mr. Bab, you know, that his intention is to be here. I want to go to another area tonight. How many of you, if Dave could find that, I don't know. All I can do is just shake my head, but I will remain very calm tonight. And I will ask Dave to put up the article on Harrison Point. If Dave could put up the article on Harrison Point. How many of you saw that article today on Harrison Point? Who saw the article on Harrison Point today? Yeah. Take a little moment if you hadn't seen it yet, and just start to read through what you see there. Sometimes it's good for you to read it if you didn't see it, because tonight I really want what we're saying on the show tonight to really sink in. I want it to sink in. I'm not, you know. And this is to show you guys what, listen, you're going to see if you haven't seen this article and you're now reading it for the first time, you're going to basically see what is going on. What is going on, truly happening, who's really in control of our country, and why it is so important that this present prime minister, this neo-colonialist prime minister of Barbados, be removed. When Mia Motley is finished with Barbados, we will not be able to recognize it. Our children. In fact, a lot of people are going to leave this country when she's finished destroying it. I'm telling you. Yes. Folks, Dave, go to the top and let me just read through. Let me read through. Okay. I want us tonight to really let what we're talking about tonight sink in very deeply. If you love Barbados, listen, the multi-million-dollar Harrison Point medical facility used during the COVID-19 pandemic and which was supposed to be transitioned into a site for medical tourism has been leased by government to Pendry Development, the entity constructing Pendry Resorts at 6 Men, St. Peter. Did anybody ever hear about this before? I did not hear. I follow the parliament most of the times. I didn't hear this discussed. Did I miss it? Miss McLean, let me see if I can get any WhatsApp here. Can send me something. Was this discussed in parliament? We're in some serious times, you know. Oh, I was getting some good messages. I'm going to read those messages on here. Is there anybody who can let me know if this was discussed in parliament? And this is why I'm saying to us, guys, I wasn't just look. I thank God my phone. I can see what's happening on my phone there, folks. Did you hear this discussed in parliament? Anybody? Did you see the media writing a piece on this before this came out? Anybody? No. I don't recall it, this particular thing being spoken about. And this is why I say to you, and I will do this, I'm going to be very calm tonight, because I want to take the time to make sure you understand. We're not here to cause trouble in this country. We're not trying to cause trouble and to cause stirring up. As I said, we're not here to destabilize the country. We're here to educate, because we do not have the numbers in parliament. We have one leader of the opposition, which you all are tearing him down anyway. He's the only person there. And we have the 2 oppositional senators that he put there. And that is why every Barbadian, all 280,000 of us, we rise up and we become the opposition in this country. We rise up and we educate ourselves. Everything that you hear on here tonight, you go and you check it out. So here it is. We're seeing this for the first time, Pendry Resorts. Who knew about this? If we had proper opposition, more numbers, because Mr. Thorne is doing a hell of a job inside of there, but we had the numbers in there. You think this would pass people like this? This would be hell and powder house. Can you imagine this happening when Mayor Martin was in opposition? This would be like fighting and rolling in the streets. Yes, Pedro, that's what they said. It would be an end of care facility. They also said it was a medical tourism. We did not hear anything about this. But now, it's already done. Already done. Dr. William Dogood, the one that we put the nose on, the Pinocchio nose on, the Pinocchio one, yes. Senior minister responsible for planning and development. Anytime you see him, yes, thank you. Anytime you see him, think of the nose. You remember Whole Town? Pinocchio. You remember Whole Town? You remember what Pinocchio told us in Whole Town? Turn out, didn't go like that. Never go like that. If they tell you X is Y, if they tell you right is left. Dave, let's go back to the to the article. I'm going to calm down here tonight because I want you to understand a few things. I see my guests are coming in, and they will come in, and we're going to talk about this together before they go into their other things. But let me finish the article so they will know what it is I'm doing. Dr. William Duguid, Senior Minister responsible for planning and development, confirmed that this state of affairs of the weekend nation, pointing out that Pendry was leasing the St. Lucie-based property for 18 months to 2 years. I bet you is by the buying it, which was the main isolation medical center during the pandemic to house its workers and construction equipment. The company has imported several foreign workers, and it goes on. Late last year, this newspaper had reported that the government was in discussion with about 5 local entities, and it goes on. It was in 5 local entities, but there's none of them won the bid. The Duguid reported that the deal for such had not materialized, so they went overseas. Anybody know what Pendry is? Let me bring in these gentlemen, and I'm gonna show them what Pendry is. Show you all. Good night, Mr. Bob, and good night, Apostle Canterbury.
Good night. Good night to all.
Good to see you again.
Good night. Friday nights again.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well,
okay.
Guys, I'm so happy to see you because we didn't go as planned, Mr. Bob. I went ahead and I had to get going. So I'm in a role right now, and I'm just going to complete something,
Okay.
Apostle Canterbury, and then we can comment on it. And then I know Apostle Canterbury wants to talk about, the borders and China. All right, and we are all going to be in the discussion. So this is our first discussion point, gentlemen. So let me just go into this a little bit and shed some more light, okay? Now, the medical equipment has been removed and no industry-specific upgrades have been done, he says, meaning that the facility can be quickly reconverted for health emergencies. So we're saying to you what Pinocchio told us, okay? What Pinocchio, right? What he said to us. Responding to public concerns, Dr. Duguid emphasized that revenue from the lease will go to Queen Elizabeth Hospital. That's what he's telling us, Pinocchio, and contingency plans exist if another healthcare crisis arises. We don't know. Wasn't debated in Parliament. We don't know anything. But the big question is this. Do we believe what he's saying? Do we believe any word that this man is telling us? That the medical equipment has been removed and that all the equipment is now at the QEH? This is expensive equipment, just put down to sit down. And that the revenue from the lease will go to QEH? We are to believe that. All you have to do is to remember what happened with Holtown when we were told by the same Mr. Duguid that the sale wasn't completed, and we came on the show and showed you that the sale was completed for the whole town. They had done it already 2 years before. You remember that? But he said it was completed. Or do we believe it? Now, quickly, who is Pendry? Pendry, this is really Pendry Hotels and Resorts. Is a California-based luxury boutique brand under Montague International, and they are debuting internationally. So the first place that they're launching outside of California, Pendry Hotels and Resorts, is Barbados. We are just wide and open. Barbados is. And
experimental capital of the world.
The experimental capital of the world. Remember, we just said that they're experimenting with us with that debt facility, debt swap facility. Here we are again. Pendry Hotel. Okay. a 74-room beach resort. This is what they're putting up where our hospital supposed to be. We can't make these things up, Apostle.
Are they putting up the hotel where the hospital is supposed to be, or is it a storage facility? Because I know that in 6 months, they are putting up a hotel.
Yes.
They are putting up a hotel in 6 months.
That's
and
right.
At the same time, the minister, Duguid, should have told the residents of 6 months, especially those along the coast, especially those who are residents right outside the hotel, whether they are going to stay there after the construction is completed.
I am telling you. Continue, Mr. Bab.
Because because the whole construction of that hotel is shrouded in secrecy. The future of the residents and the land in 6 months is still up in the air. The existence of a fishing village right next to a multi-million-dollar hotel, the refusal to complete because in the last hurricane, we had some encroaching of the sea right across the road, and that happens regularly. And nothing has been done so far. So we're approaching the hurricane season, and nothing has been done even to the road across Sherman's to prevent such a occurrence that had happened that destroyed the boats in the harbor. But we can get on the table arrangements saying to us that this is what is happening at Harrison's Point. And this is a government will make us feel that they're interested in healthcare. And then they're saying to us that they would have stored all the equipment there. Where are the Queen Elizabeth Hospital? Is it stored? Is it in containers? If there are beds there, is Queen Elizabeth equipped with more bed space? Those are the questions that we want to have answered.
Good questions.
Yeah. Mr. Bob, is any thoughts on that, Miss Apostle, before we go on any further?
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm going to tell you that, again, when you want to look into matters like these, you have to find out, first of all, what is the cutback? Okay? Because a decision like this that did not come to the public tells you that there is something that is very surreptitious where this is concerned. And again, you see the Barbados Labour Party using this type of technique, if I should put it that way, against the people of Barbados by going into deals and literally just finalizing these and then telling the public this is what we've done. But you want to go back and look at this entire situation from 6 months and what has been happening there with the residents of 6 months. Mr. Bob just brought that up. But the reality is that when this project that is going on there in St. Peter is concluded, St. Peter is going to have 3 marinas, because the plan, from my understanding of what is being built there, will also include another marina. So you're going to have Port St. Charles, you're going to have Port Ferdinand, and I don't know what this one is going to be named, but St. Peter is going to have 3. St. Peter is the only parish right now with 2 marinas, and now we're going to add a 3rd to that. And you have sitting around you, I think Port St. Charles was built at a cost of 280 million pounds. Okay. Port Ferdinand at a cost of over 380 million pounds. Now, the kind of infrastructure that I'm seeing going into this particular construction right now in 6 months, I know it's going to top that. So we're dealing multi-million-dollar companies that are coming here, and they're erecting facilities And yet there is little involvement of the people there in 6 Mains who today still don't know what is going to be the outcome of the land that they're on. Okay, so my question is, how are you able to take a facility like Harrison's Point, and you're going to give it to these individuals for leasing or whatever amount of time, and you know, we probably find out that they bought it. And why is it that you're still having an issue of relocating the residents in 6 Mains, and yet you can have such an easy movement of land being offered to these individuals to do whatever it is that they're trying to say that they're doing? So again, let's look at the way how the government's been operating. I'm gonna bring 3 things up. Number one, the millions of dollars that was spent by a local contractor to buy vaccinations during COVID. Then the lie that was told about the sale of the property there in Halltown. And now, again, another deceptive tactic from this administration in regards to the property there at Harrison Point. So this administration no longer cares about the people of Barbados. They're just putting money in their pockets. That's all they're about right now. Getting as much money as they can for whoever will continue to work with this administration. And you don't have anyone in this administration bold enough or with enough guts to look Ms. Motley in the eye or Mr. Do-Good, who ain't doing good, and tell them you guys are nothing but liars and scammers.
Scammers.
And, yeah. And
yeah,
the way
they are
they're
lying. They say we can't say they're lying. We have to say they're lying. So you know, okay, that did not pan out in here. So we have a tenant there. The people who are building Pendry, they are housing their equipment and their people there. Right. So I needed to clarify that. Thank you, Dave. Let's put that again. And thank you for reminding me. It's not so. It is a people that are being they have their equipment there. So according to them, listen, this whole thing sounds ridiculous. That you would take. You went down to, you were at Harrison Point. Sorry to bring up your ordeal, your past ordeal.
Well, no, I didn't go to Harrison Point. I didn't go to Harrison Point. No, they took us to Paragon.
Okay, I see. Sorry. Yep. So we're talking about Harrison Point here. All right.
Yep.
So there are many questions that we have to ask because, again, but it is to facilitate this hotel, right? Am I right in that? It is to facilitate the building of this this hotel, right?
Yes.
Right.
That's correct.
Thank you for correcting me. All right. So the questions that we need to ask then, is why was the local interest from medical entities dismissed? There were others who people were supposed to be bidding. Did you understand that from reading the article?
Yes, ma'am.
That there were others who wanted to use the facilities. I don't know if they wanted to make it private care facility.
Well,
the big question. Go ahead.
Yeah. Don't forget that when it was first constructed, it wasn't constructed for locals. Again, let's be clear on this, that Harrison Point, when you saw the videos and everything that came out when it was first constructed, it was not constructed for locals. It wasn't constructed for the the whole COVID-19 pandemic and all this stuff they were doing. This was really constructed for like a high-end facility. This was not, it just happened that it became usable during COVID. Let's be very clear on that. Okay.
So you're saying that because I didn't realize that. So anybody has any articles or anything on that? So it was created because I know that they said after tourism, that after COVID they were going to use it for medical tourism. I didn't know
exactly. They said
but that was after COVID. But you're
Yeah.
saying that initially it was set up for the international community, for tourists?
Yeah, pretty much. And you want to go back and remember that there was also a facility that was set up on the grounds of the national stadium. Okay.
Yes, so that was in COVID. But
That was in
whatever,
COVID.
yes,
But this
they set
one,
it up in COVID.
yeah, with this
Oh,
one, when
interesting.
it was initially, the government, from my understanding and from my recollection of this project here at Harrison Point, this was not a government project. Okay, this was a government a project by a local wealthy individual who, from my studies, had gotten information on what was coming, what was already, being pushed around the world, because the whole plight of COVID did not start in 2019. I personally spoke to a gentleman who goes to an international travel agent fair in Canada, and he said this was like 2017, and he said for some reason that year when they got there, they told him it was in a lavish conference facility. They gave the word to those in attending not to go into the area where the Chinese were, and they had asked, this was 2017, and asked them to begin to wear masks. So a lot of the people at the top, they knew what was coming. All right. And you will notice that this facility wasn't built in COVID. This was built prior to COVID. So a lot of individuals had information on what was planning, what was coming, and they began to prepare themselves. And you can tell from the video that was circulating about this, this was not a government project. The government did not have the type of finances to quickly facilitate that type of construction and to house, heavy duty machinery, washing machine, dryers, and state-of-the-art technology. You want to tell me you don't have the funds to do that at your major hospital in Barbados, the QEH, but you have it to do that at Harrison Point? That's a joke. So yeah. Any person who has any, percentage of common sense, you would know the level of infrastructure, the fact this thing was built in 3 months. This is not a government project. I can tell you that for sure. It's not a government project. It was never a government project. So we have to understand that, so many things. I mean, look at, you go back and look at that video. How come in 3 months we got this thing built up and running, and we can hardly do any type of proper infrastructure at the QEH, which is our major medical facility? We have machines up there that need to be working, that aren't working. The monies seem not to be there to fix them or to replace them. You got to ask yourself, how do we go to having all of this in 3 months at Harrison Point? How do we get that done? And we can't do it at our hospital where our people are crying out and are in need of serious medical attention and medical apparatus that will help them get their lives on track in the area of health. How is that happening? And I'm telling you, that was not a government project. Wow. Not Harrison Point.
Wow. This is very serious. Well, I mean, we have a lot of questions, Mr. I forget the names, Alvin Bob, lots of questions. How much is the government receiving from the lease? And will that benefit QEH? These are some of the questions, we have, Mr. Bob.
Yes, they seem not to tell us with everything they do in terms of money coming in. And it is not, we're still to find out what or who or where this bounty originated from. And if it was the full amount. And the apostle is correct. because it appeared to me that during COVID, that there was it became as if look, we have somewhere, this is getting more than us. Let us find somewhere to house those persons who are getting worse. It wasn't a planned project in terms of it just happened to be there, and this is what and the amount of equipment that we are seeing there, a government that is now struggling even to maintain our basic healthcare system. You see them producing that type of money at a drop of a hat, unless it was a part of a bounty. To have those amount of beds and high-tech equipment in one place in just a short space of time.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
So this government has always proven that they will never tell the Barbadian public the truth about anything. It comes across as a need to know. You treat us like there was a time I went on a track competition, and we had a manager who happened to be in the army, and information was slow in coming. And when questioned, he said is on a need to know basis. So this government treats the Barbadian public, who are we are the bosses really.
Yes. Yeah.
And they treat us as if this kind of what you're revealing here tonight as a need to know. We only tell you if we think that you should know about it. And they always operate with this shroud of secrecy about, especially when it comes to large sums of money. And we seem not to know where the money is coming from, how it's being spent, and why.
Yeah. And someone is saying here, adding to what you're saying, what you're both saying, that the reactivation and expansion of the Harrison Point, it was also part of a larger plan to prepare for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup, ensuring the island could handle any potential health-related incidents. Of course, that is going to be the front, but there has to be, now that we look back at it, and the fact that, I mean, they are no, pack up everything.
Right.
It's amazing that they would pack up everything and use it to store equipment for this for this hotel to be built. And it makes us wonder really what's the future plan for Harrison Point. It's a healthcare asset. Is it a healthcare asset or a convenient storage facility?
Maybe let me just add just one more thing to this whole saga. The Chinese are here. Okay, the Chinese are here.
But before we move on to the Chinese, because I'm going to have that.
This is
okay, good.
Yeah, this is still and in tandem with the Harrison Point issue.
Yes.
And every area where the Chinese are working in Barbados, they have their own. They bring in the steel frame buildings for their staff they set it up so their staff can live there. Okay, you tell me why you're dealing with a multi-million-dollar company. I mean, people who are accustomed building some of the most lavish hotels around the world. You come to Barbados, you're obviously dealing a multi-million-dollar infrastructure. So tell me why you can't bring in steel frame structures and put them at a certain point close to where you're working and construct them so that your workers can live there. Tell me why you can't do that. Tell me why you would seek out a place like Harrison Point and then say this is where you want to put your workers. I'll bet you there's a whole lot more going on over there. And don't forget that there's also plans to convert the cement plant into another multi-million-dollar hotel as well. So you got to watch what is going on, and they're not going to tell us everything, but we're going to find out eventually. And I'll bet you that in times to come, when certain things happen, we will find out exactly what else has been coming in that area that is now being blocked off to the public. So warning for Barbados going forward with these projects, that the government is consistently keeping out of the knowledge of the public here. Be warned that something major is going to happen in Barbados that is going to eventually topple this entire administration.
Yes, something
But
major is
but it's
coming.
puzzling. It was puzzling, Marcia. Coming out of COVID, all or the majority of economists advise us that the right thing to do is to diversify from tourism because of the effects of, and we took very long, much longer than the rest of the Caribbean to bounce back from the fallout from COVID as it relates to the effects from tourism
Mm-hmm.
to pick back up. But here it is coming out of COVID that we're building. There's a building boom, as I would call it, from all the South Coast onto the West Coast, the
Right.
building of hotels, which goes against the advice that was offered. I wonder why that after the effects of COVID and what it did to our tourism product, that we would then go back into that same type of economic economic plan that making tourism, we are even doing it more now than
Yes.
before. We're building and building. So I am not sure what is really happening.
Yeah, as somebody saying, why so many hotels? But I want to go back to this comment here, and I'm going to ask. There's a reason I'm keeping it on the screen. If I could, with Julia Robinson, I know she's in the diaspora. Julia is saying that the Harrison Point has been sold to Canadians. No, we don't have that information. Julia, if you have a source for that and you can send me, I believe you still have my number, and I'm not saying it is so or not. I want to see the source.
Okay.
I would love for you to send me that source, Julia. This is important, and that would have to move the conversation along. All right. So, Julia, if you can send that information to me via my WhatsApp. My phone is working now. It gets hot, and then the WhatsApp, it just shuts down. If you can send it to me, I would really, really appreciate it, so that we can know whether it is so or not. Because we like to bring the facts on here and the
Mhm.
source of what we are saying. And that's why I told Dave to put the thing, because even when I was going off, somebody was able to correct me. So we need to make sure that what we're saying is what it is, right?
Okay.
It's saying that it's owned by the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union and the Barbados Tourism Investment Inc. Well,
Wow.
let us know. I will wait to see if Julia will send me anything to my phone, please. I just have a few more questions before we go over into another area. We just want to read some of the comments, if we can. In the meantime, Mr. Alvin Bob, you can check some of the comments for me. I'm in the comment section. Some of the questions that we need to ask. We need to push. We need to demand answers on the deal terms. I think, Apostle, we need to make a demand. We want to know the terms, right? We want to we need full disclosure Harrison Point. I think because of our lack of proper healthcare systems in Barbados, right?
Yes, ma'am.
For something like this to be done, for you to take a state-of-the-art healthcare facility and turn it into storage for a company that is putting up a high-rise hotel.
Right.
We need to demand, we need to see the terms. Right?
Exactly. I agree with that. We need
to understand what is happening, and we need to understand what is this government's fixation on hotels, building hotels. There's this
I don't know where they expect the numbers to come from to fill
Right.
these hotels. I'm not seeing. In fact, I'm not seeing that type of activity. I know that the BTMI and those others responsible for promoting Barbados would not would hold a secret of their intentions of marketing out there to bring tourism to this shore. I am
Right.
saying that tourism minister, like the one we have, will not hide from us the fact that they're out there working to bring up numbers as it relates to tourists coming to Barbados. We're still not hearing about what has happened to the $750,000 that went into preparing the slogan. There's no new slogan, and we're still the work out there. I'm not saying the work out there being advertised or any evidence of any international plans for bringing tourism to fill all of these hotels along the coast. So it's puzzling. It's very puzzling to see that kind of construction going on.
Yeah, really. And any comments there before we move on? Because I think this is an area.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you the fact that, I'm very concerned that how do you downgrade, as you said, a state-of-the-art medical facility? Because obviously this area had much better equipment than the QEH, okay? And I mean, how do you downgrade it to storage and housing for staff that you're bringing to Barbados to work? How do you do that? I mean, what type of mind would do that to a state-of-the-art medical facility and downgrade it to that, unless there's some other serious element behind what you're actually doing? And I think in a very short space of time, we are going to find out exactly what this whole situation is all about. And it's going to be very shocking to the Barbadian public.
Yeah, because it's hard to believe that they're planning to. It's really they want us to believe. When you think about it, it's so hard to believe, Mr. Bob, that really they're going to take back the equipment there and set it back up under the hospital. You really believe that?
No. But I would like to know where all of those beds now, because we should not have, based on what I've seen, we should have a declaration that we have solved some of the bed issues at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, even in terms of equipment.
Of course. Somebody's saying something here. We don't know for true, but it causes. I feel I want to move on from this issue, but I just a few more minutes on it, because it seemed to me that something about this is so weird, Apostle. This here, it's hard to tell adults this kind of thing and expect us to believe it. No, keep that on it, please. Where is it? Okay. VR is asking something, and it's only a question. We're putting this out there because we're having a discussion. Could it be that some of that equipment has gone to the new, you know where I'm talking about?
The one that was just open.
The one that they just got the ribbon for, because the whole thing, this don't make any sense.
Right.
I think that was the emergence of the that saw the emergence of the health minister, because we did not see or hear from him for a very long time, other than at that point in time, wondering what interest he has.
Okay.
It's very interesting, I don't know, something is wrong here. I think that we need to make some demands, Apostle, from this government, because healthcare is too important to us. And this seems to me like it's a march. We need to march for transparency on this issue here. This seems to me, Mr. Bob, we need to hit the streets. Let crop overcome and we hit the streets. Something.
Because health is a nation that is unhealthy has so many other problems.
Yeah.
And the health your health is if you're unhealthy, you can't work. If you're unhealthy, you can't be productive in the workplace. Exactly. If you're unhealthy, if you're unhealthy, you can't take care of your family. You become a dependent. So and you create a lot of expense and dependency on other people to maintain your health. So therefore,
right.
if they are treating healthcare as if it does not matter to our, what are they saying to us? We may be poor, but if you're healthy, you know, that goes a long way in terms of your whole outlook on life.
Yeah.
So therefore, they
Well,
have to take the health of the and a facility like that was used at a time where we were really down, should not be just discarded without even the knowledge or of the or saying something to the Barbadian public at an early stage.
right.
Yeah. Wow. This is this one make you scratch your head. This one is a serious one. I don't see how the people swap gravity said the people swap the medical facility for 18 months. This don't make this don't while we are while there are pictures Mr. Bob, of people laying down on the ground at QEH. Do we forget that? Do we forget that people who go to court sometimes they can't find a bed to sleep on? We're supposed to be expanding our healthcare industry, and they put people in. Is it too good for us? I confused. But let's move on. Let's move on. Yeah, go ahead, Apostle. Go ahead, Apostle. What's
Okay,
on your
listen,
heart tonight?
I'm just gonna say this before you move on, okay? If you look at when our Sun Point was built, okay, to this present day, you're looking at least 2019 to 2025. Okay, let's do that. 2019 to 2025. We're looking at 6 years. Okay, 2018 to 2025. You're looking at 7 years. Listen to this. It's no old equipment.
Say that again, please. Can you repeat that, please?
Okay. So let's gauge when Harrison Point was built. Okay. 20. I think this was 2020. Okay. If you look at the fact that the equipment that was put there, the 2020 to 2025, that's now equipment that's 5 years old. It is still old equipment. Okay, it's no longer new equipment. The fact that it was there since COVID, this is 2025, hasn't been used, hasn't been serviced possibly. So you're now taking old equipment. If you're going to put it into a facility that you're now opening, it's old equipment. So
you think 5 years would make it old equipment, or the fact that it wasn't being used?
Oh, if I were to go online right now and look at the present day equipment versus 5 years ago, okay, it's going to be a huge difference in the newer technology that has gone into making present day equipment. I mean, if you have a cell phone right now, you have a cell phone that you buy, let's say a Samsung cell phone, you buy a new one today. By the end of this year, that cell phone, in terms of time, is about 4 years old. In terms of the speed, the rate of technology that is coming out. So you're not taking it may be state-of-the-art equipment, but you're not putting new equipment. That's what I want to bring up. It's not new. It's not new equipment now. It's old equipment. Okay.
Wow.
So you're still, even though, and in terms of what is happening, even at the QEH with the pileups and the fact that people are there for 2-3 days before they're even attended to, and you have all this stuff that's just sitting there and it's doing nothing. You're going to take it now and put it into, and you have to hope that it's going to work now. Or you have to now pay money to service it to make sure that it's actually working. So you're not putting brand new equipment into whatever facility you're moving into. It's now old equipment that you're using. So again, it's almost like the government has found a way to make money from one aspect of their dealings and then give Barbadians, old, possibly outdated equipment and say, hey, we're still doing something for you. We're bringing equipment from Harrison Point, which is all equipment, into our healthcare centers, which they're probably thinking this is going to be a good thing. But let's see exactly how this is going to pan out, because I know in order for you to get proper readings and to get proper diagnosis, these pieces of equipment need to be working and functioning properly. So if you have them there for the last 3-4 years, just sitting there doing nothing, and now you're going to bring them into, our healthcare system, you're asking for trouble.
A very interesting point you're making there. And as somebody said, that agreeing with you, they're sitting there so long, the sea spray and all of that,
Thank you very much.
So it's an interesting point to make. Now, where are you going to go to CARICOM free movement? Or are you going to China? What are you doing first?
I want to go to there's a statement that the Prime Minister made at the summit. That I want to look into it because I think it's very, very dangerous, very, very dangerous. The statement that she made is that she would like the CCJ to be the final appellate court in CARICOM. Okay, I think that's very, very dangerous, and I want to explain my point as to why I believe it's dangerous. This is saying that, and I, speaking on the correction, once you have a ruling from the CCJ, that's pretty much it. Okay, so that's your final level. My honest opinion is that I believe that judicial matters, people should be allowed to continue their pursuit of justice to the highest possible court. And I think restricting citizens of CARICOM to the CCJ as it being the final appellate court in CARICOM, I think that is a very dangerous call from our Prime Minister. Now, the reality is that I have a friend right now who has a very powerful and very serious case against this present administration. And he's at the CCJ level. And he's been getting major turnaround from the CCJ because it is a matter against the government, this present administration. And if that is brought to bear on the public, then it means that a lot of matters where individuals should get justice, that justice can be averted. And many times our citizens can have their cases overturned, overruled, and not get the justice that they rightfully deserve. Now, let's go back and show you something that I saw recently. In COVID, we had a case where a certain construction magnate here took the government of Barbados to court outside of the CCJ and got his case heard and got justice, got a judgment in his favor. All right. Now the CCJ is there. He didn't go to the CCJ. I remember there was a lady who had posted about a situation.
Where did he go? To the Privy Court? Where did he take his case to?
No, I think it went to Miami.
To Miami, okay.
Court in Miami, yeah. I remember there was another lady who was talking about having issues dealing with her case here in Barbados at the Supreme Court here, and eventually had to take her case overseas to Miami as well. She got a settlement. I think it was about $420 million she got in settlement. So this is one of the reasons why I'm saying it's a dangerous call from our Prime Minister to ask the leaders of CARICOM to make the CCJ the final appellate court in the region. That's very, very dangerous. Okay. Now, the beauty for me is that the beauty of a judge, as far as I'm concerned and from my biblical studies, is the quick and righteous settlement of matters. Quick and righteous settlement of matters. You have cases here in Barbados that have been going on for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. That's horrible. That is horrible, to be living in a country where the judicial system is not functioning properly. So in the Bible, we had a case with, let's say, Solomon. This is in 1 Kings 3. And Solomon had a case with 2 women. One lady had overfed her child, baby died. She got up in the middle of the night to switch the babies. And Solomon heard the case. And in 10 minutes, Solomon settled that case. He called for a sword and said, we're going to cut the baby in half, because he knew psychologically how the real mother of the baby would respond once the child is put, the life of the child is in danger. And in 10 minutes, he settled that case. Now, normally in our day, that case would have to go to blood tests, DNA tests. We'd have to get the father to come in. Case would get adjourned. You'd have a whole lot of stuff happening. But in 10 minutes, by wisdom, Solomon was able to judge that case and have a quick settlement. We have cases that are going on in Barbados. I know of one where the judge refused to make a settlement, or he refused to rule on the case, even though he knew the other person was wrong. And that case, as far as I know today, has been going on for close to 20 years, that he has not made a judgment in that case. So to say, knowing that the current affairs within the nation, as far as the judicial system is concerned, is not where it needs to be. How can you then go to say we want the CCJ to be the final appellate court in the region? I think something is seriously wrong with that. Okay, so this is one of the reasons that tonight I want the public to understand that this is so dangerous to us as nationals of Barbados, and then CARICOM nationals, when you are put in a box, and when you have a serious matter, and even matters that are pertaining to the government, that you are put in this box where even when you go to the CCJ, because of their appointment by leaders of CARICOM, you can't get a judgment in your favor, because your case is going to be stagnated. It's going to be blocked at every level. There are going to be things happening that will not give you the kind of justice that you deserve. And I think that is very, very dangerous for our Prime Minister, knowing the state of affairs with our local judicial system, to ask for that to be the case at a CARICOM level. I've personally been in a court, and I'm going to say this because this just goes to show you how dangerous the court system here is in Barbados. I was in court one day, and 2 traffic matters came up. One young lady, she was clocked doing 83 with a Swift, and the judge told her, you know, young lady, you could have lost control of the vehicle, the tire could have blown out, this could have happened, you could have run off the road, you could have endangered your life, you could have endangered other road users. 83 kilometers with a Swift. They charged her $350. The next person on the stand was a guy who said he went to work to pick up something from his workplace, but one of the drivers didn't come to work. and they asked him if he would take the vehicle and take some stuff to St. Lucie. He's driving a truck. They stopped him at 93, clocked him at 93 kilometers with a truck. And he explained the situation, and the judge said, you know, you put yourself over so well, you know, CRD. And I sat there and I said, wait a minute. So this truck couldn't have a tire blow. The driver couldn't lose control at 93 kilometers. But a lady with a Swift, she gets charged $350, and a guy with a truck laden with goods, he gets off. So, you know, this goes to explain that we have a current judicial system that is not in the favor of our people. And it's very important for Barbados to understand when leaders, especially at these CARICOM heads of government meetings, when they're getting together and they're planning things that will work in their favor, okay, that when innocent individuals have issues with government, and when they take government to court, or, you know, or any person that is a minister of government or whatever, that they can have justice. And unfortunately, a lot of individuals don't have the type of financial resources like certain individuals to go outside of Barbados. And the last thing that I want to say, if they want to look at things on a different level, we have our lawyers in Barbados who are able to go to other CARICOM countries, and even countries that are outside of CARICOM, because I have, you know, knowledge of, you know, a lawyer friend here who actually went to Tortola to deal with a legal matter, okay? And obviously, Tortola is under British law. So my question is, if lawyers can move around the Caribbean to deal with other clients outside of their country, why is it that we did not develop a system where judges can move around the Caribbean and deal with cases in other countries, so that we don't have the plight of a judge being biased in a case? Okay, so these are things that are very, very, in my mind, are very, very critical. If you want the judicial system to work properly, then I think it's time for us to develop a wholesome system where the judiciary is open and flexible, so that people can have their cases settled and they don't have to deal with situations where, you know, court may be biased based on the fact I know a plaintiff or someone is related to me, or you know, we have business together or whatever. I think it's time for the judiciary to function well enough that the people have their cases settled, and settled in a timely manner, so that we don't have, you know, a lot of this mental state and pressure that people are under. Many times it's also because of what's happening in the courts, the unfair levels that they're seeing. So I think it's very, very, very important right now for, you know, our Prime Minister to be very, very careful when they're sitting and strategizing ways that may impede the proper flow of justice to their citizens. And that's what I want to bring up here tonight in my first point.
Yes, excellent, excellent. Very, very important. Before we go to Mr. Bob is going to speak a bit on food security, which he was supposed to do at the beginning, but I told you he had a little challenge. Let me just say here that what Apostle just brought up is so important. And I know for sure lawyers in Jamaica, they have said they will fight the government. Jamaica is not going to the CCJ not because they are colonial per se, which they might be in certain issues, but not in that. It's because they do not trust the CCJ. They do not trust that it's just and fair. And a lot of the lawyers that I've spoken to, so the CCJ is based in Trinidad, but it's the only final court of appeal. And I agree with Lookup based on what I know for Barbados, Guyana, Dominica, Belize, and St. Lucia. Other Caribbean countries have not yet adopted the CCJ as their final appellate court. And I know that as a fact. And so I hope that the others are listening. But I plan to do this as a with some of the other Caribbean countries. We're going to have that discussion. But let me run over to Mr. Bob. At this time, Mr. Bob is going to take a couple minutes and talk to us about food security, and then we're back with Apostle. We will talk about CARICOM, the borders, open borders, and the Chinese and their involvement in the Caribbean. Over to you, Mr. Bob.
Hi, good evening, everybody again. My concern is, I will start by saying that a hungry people is an angry people. And undernourished people produces an unhealthy nation. Food should not also food should also be affordable and available for persons. And I every day pick up the newspaper. I see our minister making some elaborate statements. And giving the impression that all is well with food in Barbados. But those of us who go into the supermarket and we move around, we know that is not the case. Mm-hmm. We see farmers crying out because of pretty larceny. And that brings frustration. A person can decide that it makes no sense. I continue to farm at this level and I cannot bring my produce to market. So some serious approach has to be given to pretty larceny, the affordability of food. The last thing I saw was the minister going to Brazil. The last that went to Brazil, we know the Fort Lore.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know that song very well.
Yep.
And we are well aware that there are a lot of lands that are managed by the DMC that can also be dedicated to increased fruit farming. We can look at what is happening to the soil conservation and see why that has fallen off. Because there will come a time, and it is approaching where all those imports that we are dependent on in terms of tariffs, etc., we are going to have serious consequence on what is available for us in the supermarkets and what we're going to feed our people. And there's some questions I want to ask as well. There is a place called Veg Grow at 6 Roads.
Mm.
Is it true that it's being rented by this government? And I'm hearing
it's called Vegco, right?
Yeah, Veg Grow.
Veg Grow.
Yes. And it's rented by this government. And is it true that the monthly cost for rent is about $45,000? And this is 2 months that has passed, and there's no activity there.
Repeat that. Repeat what you're saying.
That there is a facility, Veg Grow, at 6 Roads.
Let me ask the people, anybody here buy fruits and vegetables at Veg Grow? Anybody watching, do you go to St. Philip to buy your fruits and vegetables? We've been there. So tell me.
And that facility is being rented. Is it being rented by the government? What is the monthly cost? And what is there after 2 months of rent costing taxpayers in excess of probably $45,000 a month? Why is there no activity there? I also want to ask the minister about our sheep that went to Guyana. What is the status of our sheep? And what is being done to ensure that that planned increase in mutton or black belly sheep that was taken to Guyana, has after all of these months, has there been any real improvement in the numbers in terms of producing more black belly sheep? when will those numbers be at a level that they can be brought back to Barbados? And why were they taken there in the first place? You see, when our people, for me, eating healthy is important. And it must be at a state where our people can afford to buy healthy food. And if you're buying food from overseas, which are sprayed, as opposed to buying food which is grown here and goes from the field into the market, that protects our health. A good question by Michelle. Who is the landlord of VegCo? So those are the type of questions that we have to, if you're serious about food production, and if you're building all of these hotels along the coast, aren't we get ourselves in a position where we can supply those hotels? So I'm saying to the minister that he, and instead of going to Brazil for a trip, he needs to come to us as Barbadians and tell us what is really happening with our food production and our provisions for quality food for our Barbadians. And that is where I'll leave it tonight.
Wow. This is very, very, very very eye-opening and very serious, pointed questions that are being sent to the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Indar Ware. And I know that the government watches this. Is Veg Grow being rented by this government for $45,000 per month? And has it been used? Is it closed down? Are you still paying the rent the last 2 months? We're asking questions. And what is the status of the black belly sheep that went to Guyana? Has that benefited our our production of lamb then, right?
No.
As that happened, who is the landlord for VegCo? Who are we paying this $45,000 a month? Oh my goodness, that's a lot of money. And somebody's saying it is closed. What has happened there? Is it really closed, or it just closed down for 2 months? Are we still paying the rent? You see, these are questions we can't answer it. The minister would need to answer. Okay, but Apostle Canterbury, we can't do the calling because I'm not sure how the phone is going to handle all of that tonight. But we will hopefully everything can be fixed for Sunday, and we're going to go straight into our next segment because we don't have much time, and we're going to talk now about the borders. All right. Yeah. And then we go into China. Is that how we are going to do it?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I just want to tell Miss about one thing about that so-called Fort Lower here in Barbados. Millie never made it to Brazil, by the way, according to the song. So you never know. So yeah, according to that, that local Fort Lower song, Millie never made it to Brazil. I don't think a lot of people know that. That song is actually the scene of a crime, of a murder. Yeah. So she never made it. She never made it to Brazil. So who knows?
Who knows?
Probably all the ministers they make it to Brazil either. So we'll see. Yes, ma'am. Let's move on. I just wanted to say that.
Yes. Okay. I'm seeing here. There's an answer. Look at the chat. It says that VegCo had an official post on their Instagram page stating that it was closing its doors on February 28, 2025. The question, so your question is whether they're still paying the $45,000. So that's what he's asking. Is the government still paying the $45,000 to that particular landlord? And so the big question is, who is that landlord? Okay. All right, continue. Let's move on, Apostle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that was closed since February.
Yes.
Wow.
All right. So we're moving on to the CARICOM free movement. Whether is this a promise or a threat?
Sounds to me more like it's like a threat rather than a promise. I think and especially right now we're looking at the fact that crime in Barbados is increasing, and it is a very serious problem across the Caribbean. Crime itself, and not just crime, but violent crimes. And again, if you're looking at border security, you cannot just allow freedom of movement because you still have to screen. America is a massive country, and they do everything possible to screen persons that are coming through into their borders. I mean, I was in England early. Was in England early this year, and you know their security measures are so top notch. You really can't see what's going on. I was standing there, was talking to my brother-in-law, and I was in the hall, you know. And one of the things that I do from watching movies and stuff like that is, you know, I always try to position myself in a place where I can see who's coming in and who's going out. And you know, you look around and you see individuals that are in there undressed, but they're not a part of the passengers who are coming in, you know, coming through immigration. They're part of the security system that's there. And I think for Barbados to recognize that we're on a state where our crime is increasing and we haven't put measures in place as yet to deal with a very high state of crime and very violent crimes in Barbados. I think to want to open your borders right now for free movement of individuals, I think that's very dangerous. It's dangerous for every single Caribbean country to go in that particular direction right now. So for there to be, you know, statements made like this when there's little dialogue with, you know, the commissioner of police, little dialogue with the commissioners of police from around the Caribbean, little dialogue with, you know, the RSS, little dialogue with, you know, elements that are, you know, designed to make sure that our borders, both sea and air, are safe for our people. To do this right now, I think is absolutely crazy. You want to make sure that the people that you have that are moving around the Caribbean right now are individuals that are coming into the different islands to be a part of the development of the country, not to, you know, rob and to hurt and to, you know, bring corruption and to continue with their movement of their illegal trades and stuff like that. And Barbados has not yet proven, our security systems have not yet proven that we have a strong grasp on the security of our borders as yet as a nation. And I think that's what every Caribbean leader and those who are in charge of the security of the country, I think those are things that they must make sure, so that when they say, yeah, we can open our borders, that we have the infrastructure in place to wean out those individuals who might be coming in to the country to create chaos. Okay, so for them to say, yeah, we want to go ahead and do that, and especially right now with Barbados and Jamaica, that in my opinion, and Trinidad, that are at the top of the crime that is happening around the Caribbean right now, we have to be very, very careful as leaders to say, yeah, we want to go ahead and open up our borders to, you know, everybody, so that there's a free movement of people around the Caribbean. I think once nations have properly shown that we have a strong security system in place, yes, we can do that. But until, I don't think it's right for them to allow any type of freedom of movement in the Caribbean. As it is right now, you know, you use that to work your way up to having a very, very strong, very solid security element, so that people are not getting away with, you know, the importation of things into the island, you know, exotic animals, drugs, and, you know, dealing with the whole issue of child slavery, human trafficking, and all these things that are prevalent in Barbados at the moment. So, as I said, until we can safely say, okay, we have at least 80 to 90% very strong security network of our ports, then I don't think that is the way to go at the moment. And unless they can show to the public, yeah, we have a very solid system right now that's designed to protect you from the people who would come to our nation and create problems. And forget that whole freedom of movement of people at the moment. This is what has to happen. Barbados must first be safe for Barbadians before they can be exposed to any and everybody just passing to our shores. So there you go. Snakes in the grass, snakes on the plane, snakes on cruise liner, pretty much all over. So we got to make sure that our country is safe.
Yeah, okay. This was found on Kensington New Road today. Okay, this snake woman. Okay, all right. Now, thank you so much, Apostle. The question is, so those were some of the cons to it. There are some pros to it. And let's look at some of those pros, and then I just want to say make a quick point there about how this is connected to the global agenda as well. But Mr. Bob, what are some of the pros of this, the CARICOM?
I think that this is a very sensitive topic, and have been for all our leaders, past and present. There has been this talk about freedom of movement by our people. And I believe that it's about working, being able to move from country to country and work. That is what I understand by freedom of movement, that there be little restriction placed on persons who are skilled, that can go into, that who are qualified, that can go into a country and find work.
Mm-hmm.
But if freedom of movement means that you're allowing people to come and live, we have a situation in this country where this government has a very poor record on providing housing. If there is this avalanche of persons now from October 1st, which happens to be the Prime Minister's birthday, coming into Barbados, being allowed to come into Barbados,
before you move on there, why aren't we surprised that she would make it? It's on her birthday. It's always about her. Anyway, continue.
Where are we going to house these persons? We are struggling to provide housing for our own nationals, and then you have this open door policy. But for me, I believe that the freedom of movement within the Caribbean should be related to skill and the ability to work once you are educated and you provide a skill that you can apply for a job within another country without the number of restrictions. Not that is the open door policy, so that you pick up your family or your gang and you decide it is too much in this territory. Let me move to Barbados and set up my own territory, which becomes your spot now for your criminal activity.
Right.
So there has to be some explanation and more dialogue about what this freedom of movement and open door means for us.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, well, as we look at some of the pros, as you're saying, I mean, what you're thinking is that there will be economic integration. So it's not just people coming to that movement, but they're looking at the economics of it. They feel like they're filling the labor shortages, which some people might say, well, we that live in the country want to fill the shortage, right? But I think they're filling labor shortages in tourism, in agriculture, construction. There are some people who are happy about the CARICOM movement, the opening up of the borders, and they're saying no work permits. So if we listen carefully to what they're saying, so there's no work permits. All right, so you can just come in and you could just work, and you find a job is what what this is saying to me. and you do what it is that you need to do. You live your life. There are people who are already coming. They're already coming into Barbados, and they are not. There's not much scrutiny. The Barbados Accreditation Society, or is it the S? Is it society? I'm not sure what the BAS, the S is, but the BAS, they are supposed to scrutinize the documents that come in, that those who are moving throughout the region, when they come to Barbados, they are supposed to scrutinize it. Now, it used to take months for the BAS to scrutinize those documents. I've been reliably informed that it's now years now that our Prime Minister in Barbados, have removed a lot of that timeline and has brought it down, decreased the timeline for the scrutiny of those credentials to determine skilled laborers, and have brought it down to only a matter of weeks. And I have discussed this on the show many a times, where the BAS, and they can tell me if I'm speaking the truth or not, but I'm hearing from people within the BAS. That's the truth. So the question is, if we are going to then decrease the time that it's going to take to scrutinize the documents, take people from my country, a lot of people who are coming in, they're going to bring in, you want documents, they're going to bring you documents, but are they real? And so that is why the BAS was supposed to be, they would be the ones that's going to verify if you say you're skilled in this particular area. Their job is to determine if you're skilled in the area or not. But we're finding a lot of people are just coming in. I mean, I saw people on the road who are selling, from my country, from Jamaica, selling snow cones. Now, my question, are selling soup, just pushing a pan cart, selling soup in town. The question is, are those people skilled people? That is what was supposed to have happened under the in CARICOM, right? Where they were catering for skilled laborers. But all and sundry are coming in, and those are some of the. So it's not that we don't want regional unity, because that's a pro of it. We look at the pros and the cons. Regional unity is easier mobility for youth and professionals, right? And it's in line with the CARICOM Treaty, Articles 45 and 46. So if you have the CARICOM Treaty, it is part of what it is supposed to do. But there are some concerns about it. Go ahead, Apostle.
Yeah, I'll say this, and I understand the aspect of, work, skilled professionals coming from one CARICOM country to another. But here's the point. The reality is that we've had situations in Barbados at top levels where the certification that was presented upon interview were fictitious. Okay, so if we're going to do this, then you need a framework that any person that is going has a document from the government, stamped by the government or stamped by the court of that country, that says the information this person is presenting to you is legitimate. Okay, you just can't come in here with photos of your certification and just be accepted on that merit alone, because you don't want to have a case where you have someone who's working as a manager here, as a CO here, and then you find out later on the documents that they presented at the interview or that they sent by mail or email or whatever. These documents are forged. These are, documents they got some friend to Photoshop for them, and now they're in this position without having the proper credentials. So I think even if you're going to do that, that's why I brought up the point of security, not just a matter of coming in and making sure on arrival that you're legit, you got all your stuff in place, but making sure that CARICOM governments say to a person, for instance, if someone is coming to Barbados to be the manager, they've applied for managerial position at a bank. When you come to Barbados, you have documentation from your previous workplace, but then you also have a special document that says to us here in Barbados, you've gone through all the necessary channels with the government, the government of the country you're coming from, and this is the documentation from Trinidad. This is the documentation from the government of Jamaica that says, yes, this person came to us. They've gone through the proper channels of application to work in your country. This is our sealed governmental document, stamped, signed by whoever, registrar of the court, whoever says the person has gone through the process, not just show up in the country and just hoping that, some documentations that I have, some certificates that I have, are enough to make sure that I get the job. So when I talk about security, I'm not just talking, about the seaport and the airport, but right across the board so that the system works better, so you don't have individuals slipping through the cracks. I know of one situation here at the very QEH that I was told that an individual came here, assumed a particular position and worked here, and then left, and then finally found out that the certification was not up to date. It was forged. So you don't want to have that type of operation, even if you're talking about, someone who is skilled. Make sure that the system is working so that the people who are coming here to work, they're following a certain level
Correct.
of protocol, and they're operating properly within a framework that allows safety to the country that they're going into work, so that they're not bringing some type of underhanded operation with them, and then they can move to allow some other person to slip in because they were able to get in without the necessary security framework in place. So that's one of the reasons why I brought up the area of security.
Yes, most definitely, because my understanding is that they're the same way how people are coming here to do construction work or to sell snow cone. I heard that one contractor told me, who is from my country, a contractor from Jamaica, a Jamaican contractor, said, Marcia, some of these people that are here, they're not skilled workers that are working on the construction site. These are some of these people that are coming in. Anybody, they're just laborers. They're not skilled workers. And so this is why I'm saying that the Barbados Accreditation Council, I knew something was wrong about the S. Thank you, somebody who corrected me. There's somebody who corrected the Barbados Accreditation Council. The Prime Minister needs to allow them to do their job and not to go there to cause, she wants them to change. And well, this already happened. And where the time has been decreased, the time to scrutinize the documents, etc. Right? All of that is, and that's why you're getting all and sundry that are coming into the country that they're calling skilled workers. And when we think of our hospital, we're looking at if we look at the pressure that this could cause on our healthcare.
Exactly.
Right? On the healthcare. We already. I have a video there that I would ask Dave to show. Because this deals with the 2 points that we were dealing with Harrison Point, and also with this issue of the opening of our borders. Right. Look at the state of our healthcare. Dave, if you check your WhatsApp, you should see an important video where a visitor, she is not a Barbadian, went to the QEH and she's giving her account. Dave, are you able to show that? Dave? Okay, it's coming up. And we might have to take a rain check on China or just say a few words on it.
No problem.
But somebody even saying here that sex workers, what are these? Are you considering them skilled workers? Because we have a lot of sex workers that are coming in from Dominican Republic, from Jamaica, from other countries. In fact, there is a fight over territory, and they're fighting and over where is their place to work, etc., etc. So
Yeah.
all of these, these kinds of things are happening. We have contract killers who are also coming in
Right.
as well. So as you're rightfully saying, while it is, as Mr. Bob said, it's a very sensitive topic, and we always want to be able to open our doors. But I think that we really need to make sure that we have the checks and balances are in place.
Well, let's go back quickly before we move on. Let's go back quickly to what was happening. Oh, that's the video.
This is the video. The
Okay.
video, and as Dave is playing this, the other point that we did not make about this, which is very important, and people are making it in the comment section, and I need to mention it. It's about voting. Is this about voter padding? Are we padding the voters list with this? Are we making it? Is this the way the 80,000? Is this the way that Mia Motley plans to get the 80,000 in Barbados? Because she's talking about opening up the borders. Mia Motley, you started a long time ago. We know that. We in the Jamaican community, we know you started that a long time ago. All right. So are you doing this for votes, Mia Motley? We're watching you. Go ahead, Dave. Thank you.
Good night. Story time. Sabina here. I would like to speak about the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. I know this is not a regular complaints about the same matters that we deal with all the time, that the wait is too long, you can't get a bed when you need a bed, and, some of the nurses' attitude. This is a different matter. This is a matter. I went tonight to visit my husband in the hospital, and when I got on the ward B7, where my husband is, and I settled in a little bit, I was looking for a chair to actually have a seat. I choose not to go in the lunch hour because the lunch hour is literally just an hour. I choose the evening visit so that I can spend some more time with him. So after I settled in, and I was looking for a chair and I couldn't find a chair. So I tell myself, let me just walk around in the ward and see if I can locate a chair. And I noticed that nobody has a chair. So all the visitors that come in are actually standing up, and I realized they were really sticking up, they're in and out. So I went to the nurse and I asked the nurse, is it possible please to get a chair or stool or something that they can sit down on, because I'm here for a while and I can't just stand up for hours, So she informed me and let me know that there are no chairs for visitors. I was like, what the hell? I thought it was a joke. And she said, no, this is just what it is. And I was like, okay, thank you. I mean, that's ridiculous, So, I actually had to, use his duffel bag and sit down on the ground. I mean, we paying taxes, and that is, nobody like to go to the hospital in the first place. So if you're going to visit somebody, at least they should have a stool or a chair for you that you can sit down onto, keep them company, and make them forget about the situations that they are going through, for a little comfort. I mean, what is this all about? I mean, this is not right. I mean, as simple as a chair is not possible to have at the hospital. What we paying taxes for? I mean, I had to sit on the floor. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess. I just think it is really, really poor. So I just wanted to share that. So if you're planning to go to the hospital to visit somebody, the best time is to go in the evening, but walk with the chair. Bye.
Wow. That I'm telling you.
Wow. That's serious.
It's broken down. This system is the healthcare system. It's non-existent. And we are now getting guess what? She's going to bring in that 80,000 people. And the big question is, will they be allowed to vote? That's a big question. But Apostle, you were saying something. Oh yeah, we have another person here. Hang on, Dave. We'll close off with her. You had a point you were making, Mr. Apostle. We might have to bring you in back earlier, probably Sunday, to deal with China.
Probably. I was just saying in relation to a lot of what's happening here in Barbados right now is really showing that we're not prepared for what we think would benefit us. We're not prepared as a country right now, honestly. And the activity of this government, and from what you're hearing, shows us if you don't even have a chair for a visitor, you're not ready. We're not prepared. This is just, a fool's paradise. This is crazy. So let me just make the statement that I wanted to make. And this goes back to the first group of Ghanaian nurses that came to Barbados during COVID, to show you, and this is actual information from individuals present within that framework. Not one of those Ghanaian nurses came here with correct credentials, and not one of them had medicals when they landed in Barbados.
Oh, really?
Not one of them had medicals. All of their medicals were done right here in Barbados, paid for by the taxpayers of Barbados.
Oh,
so,
they didn't do medicals before they left. They did their medicals here.
They did their medicals here in Barbados. So this is what I mean when I talk about security. If the government is, and you remember you had the hepatitis B, you had all those diseases that were found in them because all of their blood work was done here in Barbados. Not one of them landed here in Barbados with their medical records intact. And the government of Barbados during COVID subjected this nation to people that they lied to the public about, that these people were skilled individuals, brought them here. Listen, right now, as I said a few weeks ago on the show, Barbados is being used as a stepping stone for these folk to go on to England. Okay, I am telling you, even a lot of the nurses that came to Barbados from Cuba came here to train. They were not registered nurses, not all of them. Okay, and I can share some things with you from an individual who is a lady who is a senior registered nurse in England. So the information that I have is not hearsay, is not anything that I trump up. I'm telling you, this is information from the mouth of an individual who is at the helm of what is happening in England and what the nurses from Ghana, both male and female, are leaving Barbados and coming to England and doing. As I said, there was one case where the Ghanaian nurse called in sick, said he was not going to be at work. Day 1 went by, day 2 went by, day 3 went by, and when the head nurse here in Barbados contacted him, he was already in England working. Okay.
I trust me. We are connected to some of them, and I know what you're saying is I believe you because of what we've experienced. So
yeah, I'm telling you, and this is why I said that we need to have governmental documentation from the individual when they arrive here, and then their information must be scrutinized, because you cannot be coming here to take care of our people and you don't have medicals in place and you're not even properly trained as a nurse to take care. And why would I bring so many of you when I know that you're not ready to take care of my people? I can never be involved in anything like that. So
yeah.
It's crazy.
And as you said, some of them, because some of them I have been told that some of them are very good. Honestly, I have heard that from family members that some of them are very good, but I do know that you will always have those involved in there, but the whole thing about them coming and using this as a stepping stone to travel overseas, I know that is so. Well, we're getting ready to make our final comments tonight, our show Who's Really in Control. We dealt with the debt swap, we dealt with the open borders. I just want to say one other thing about the media, Mr. Bob, before we go, take 5 minutes, and Apostle Scanterbury, about the media. We had that on our list to talk about as well. This whole thing with the announcer and the song. To say that I did see that Anthony Green, there was a statement in the newspaper, which he's not saying anything at all. I don't understand what he's saying. What we're asking Mr. Anthony Green to do is to tell us whether the song is libelous. Is the song breaking any laws, any broadcasting laws in Barbados? That's what we want to ask Anthony Green. He is now the president of the Caribbean Broadcasting Union. And one would think that there are ideals and there are standards that the CBU would be governed by. And as the president or the chairman of the CBU, we're kindly asking him to provide that information for us, because outside of that, Mr. Bob, we are beginning to wonder, is a StarCom bought and paid for? I'm only asking a question because of the reason that the alleged reason that is given, that it's a commercial because of commercial considerations and the protecting the image of the client.
Right. Okay.
So it is important, I think, for us to be able to ask that question, because we will have to be wondering, is it okay? So are you bought and paid for StarCom because you're worried about how how the ads are going to go? Your bottom line is what you're worried about. Again, who's really in control? Who is in control of our media? Mr. Bob, what are your thoughts on that before we close?
I believe that what is troubling, that there's so many people and organizations like the media who it is so easy for them since 2018 to compromise their standards, to throw principle and right through the door. For what reason? And sometimes when you look below the surface, it is about protecting their own interests, and their own interest surrounds the almighty dollar, what they're being paid, how much they're being paid. We're seeing it from influencers. I saw one of their persons who has the initial of PK confirming that there's some activities going on at the NCF that he's going to expose in terms of who get in. And I suspect what he's talking about, that he has found out, and he's probably looking for some of the money coming to him.
Exactly.
So I am saying that it is troubling that persons who used to speak and speak with authority, I will keep Barbadians in the know. I will let the government of the day understand that what you are doing to this country is not right. What you're doing to our people. And then we have our people, when the opportunity arises, that we take matters into our own destiny, into our own hands, that we decide, like we decided in 2018 and 2022, that we are fed up. And this is our country, and if you're not doing, and if you're making us uncomfortable, we're going to provide you with some discomfort as well. And the time has come for us to say to this government that you are making us uncomfortable. And those persons who used to speak with authority, those persons who used to come out, I don't know if they were promised or they were given. And I know there was a time one prime minister said that if once you know your price, we can figure you out. So I'm saying that it is troubling, and we need to get back. We are a people that if some person is unfair, some person on the street, we will raise our voices. This government is unfair the masses of people, and we need to raise our voices.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that is all, and that is for the media and those persons who know better.
Yeah. So we have a bought media.
Yep.
Go ahead, Apostle.
Okay, well, I this is all I'm going to say. I've heard the song, and I think it's a pretty brilliant song if you really pay attention to the message of the song and not so much the cliche. I don't think it's at the top, but here's the point that I want to make. Is Mr. Clark still working at StarCom? Because I know he's employed by StarCom.
I'm speaking about the announcer. I don't, I try not to think, but I believe he's still working there as far as I know.
So let me rephrase the question. Is the announcer still working there?
I suspect so.
Okay. So if the announcer is still working at StarCom presently, then the issue is that it's not about employee misconduct.
It's not about what?
Employee misconduct means that he personally has not broken any of their rules.
So he's still employed.
He's still employed there.
The person who okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the person who wrote the song, the person who is performing the song, is still working at StarCom. And StarCom has banned their song, not him working there. So you have to ask yourself the question, okay? Then if the announcer is still working at StarCom and it's not a matter of employee misconduct, then you have to accept that StarCom is interfering with culture. And StarCom is not created to interfere with culture. There are too many individuals and too many songs that have been produced in Barbados throughout the history of crop over that have spoke about, ministers of government, the prime minister. We had Frandelian saying a word. You remember years ago, Duke Chet Edie Shirt wrote a song. These are the things that Sandy did, and he just had a silence so that everybody got to understand Sandy did nothing. You had Sandy and saying a word. You had Malik that sang even about, everybody for a cup. And he mentioned that at the end of it, that going after, no one was more for a cup than he. You had so many individuals, Gabby and Griner and all these folk that, did things and said, produced songs that, it's part of the culture, it's part of social commentary. And to get to this place where media can be so forceful and violent against, cultural acts here in Barbados, then something is wrong. Something is seriously wrong with what's happening. To this day, no media house has talked about the plight of COVID. They've not talked about folk who died from the vaccine, the adverse side reactions, not one of them. StarCom, The Nation, The Advocate, Barbados Today. So we have a situation where the media in Barbados is behaving as though it is a member of parliament now under this administration. And we've got to be very, very careful. Okay, I think Mr. Bab just said a lot of the people who would have spoken out for the public years ago, they've been bought out and they're silenced now. But there are some of us who are not afraid to speak out. There's some of us who are not afraid to tell the public, this is what's going on, watch out and be careful. Okay, so you have to accept that if the announcer is still working at StarCom, still gainfully employed at StarCom Network, okay, and he produced a song during leading up to our crop over season, and you took his song away, but he's still in right standing with you as an employee, then you are interfering with culture. And that's where you have to put that out to them to help them to understand that. And they must stop playing that game of thinking that they have the ability and the right to control what is going on in our cultural element. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, very interesting insight. Our topic tonight is who's really in control, right? We talk about the debt swap, the open borders, the media, where we talked about agriculture. Oh wow, it's been a great night, Mr. Bob. I know you pushed through and you came.
Yes,
And I
yes.
appreciate, on behalf of everybody, as I thank you for that. Thank you for pushing through, for coming through, and thank you so much, Apostle. We really appreciate what you guys do. I know it's not easy, but you're here.
They're here, of course.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And thank you so much, Madam Weekes, for inviting us to be a part of what you're doing. Really appreciate that.
Yes, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. Guys, we're going to be tuned in again on Sunday night. I want to talk a little bit, remind you about White Oaks, who is actually involved. I didn't get to say this because of time, in the debt swap. They are the White Oaks, believe it or not. It's like those white, they call the shadows. There's a saying about the white shadows, something. They are lurking. So the
buzzword is resilience.
The buzzword is resilience. And
yes,
here
that's what you
again behind the corner. So we're going to talk about that on Sunday. Talk a little bit about. I'm going to talk a little bit about White Oaks and what they're doing, involved in the debt swap. That facility that is being set up here. To everybody who is joined. To everybody, you're correct, Mr. Hines. She's in charge, but not necessarily in control. Correct, Adrian Hines. Yeah, let me just say to everybody. Oh, somebody said the show is too short. Folks, I want to thank you all for joining. We went over 1,000 again, and you have been joining, and those are the numbers that we're keeping. Folks, I want to thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. We really appreciate it. Dave, thank you for the work that you are doing behind the scenes. And everybody who sent me WhatsApp messages, sorry, I couldn't read all of them, but thank you. We appreciate all that you do for the show. God bless you. We love you. Bye-bye. Have a good night. Dave, we're going to play the tonight. It's too long. Bye-bye. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Bye.